Hi, we are going to talk about the media legacy organization facing disinformation. What are the obstacles they have to overcome? Does a digital newsroom more vulnerable for for fake news? As you know, misinformation and disinformation have a different meaning. Intention makes the difference. Disinformation is a political or a business tool aimed at influencing public opinion. However, the public links the fake news more or disinformation more with a made-up story fabricated by a journalist or a news organization, and they underestimate the role of manipulation. So we are talking about truth which is the supreme goal of journalism. But what does truth mean? We have different meaning between Karl Popper and Jürgen Habermas, and we're living in a post-truth time, which makes a big difference. Just to deal with the difficulty of defining truth, we took two examples. The first one is Inauguration Day in 2009 with Obama, and in 2017 with Donald Trump. The New York Times took the same picture, same angle, half hour before the inauguration, and to take a look at the picture, and you can say easily that Obama crowd was much bigger. However, the PR staff of President Trump and mainly press secretary didn't like this, what they call interpretation or misinterpretation, and they proposed a new phrase named alternative facts. What they call alternative facts? They are the ground covering on the mall, and the new security rules that have prevented people to enter the mall. And so, according to the PR, it was just impossible to quite quantify precisely the crowd in 2017. The Macron's leaks is an issue much easier to solve. 4 days between the elections, the runoff of the presidential election between Macron and Marine Le Pen, 2,000 pages supposedly stolen from candidate Macron were posted on a website. They were supposed to prove that Macron didn't pay all the taxes he has to, and he was supposed to cloud the candidate's public perception. The French press couldn't investigate because a blackout imposed 2 days before the election. The international press did investigate and found out that there was a mix of genuine documents, mainly emails, and forged one. So with social media, this is a new time to deal with. Social media are a source of news and contact, but in the same time, it's a poison, you know. And so the newsroom have to deal with a new problem. They will need a bunch of fact checker to just like in the old days. Look at the picture. It was in 1933 with the Time magazine. But the money is lucky. They need money for that, and mainly because disinformation attacks to the business side. As you know, programmatic advertising is becoming the rule. It's auction with no human decision making, and so it's easy to creep on and to creep in the system and to manipulate the data. And so there was a loss of $5 billion in 1916, and as advertiser, are reluctant to put money on the game. And they put the money mainly in the platform, Facebook, Google, because they are convinced that those platforms are better to detect fraud. So the question, are the digital newsroom more vulnerable to fake news? The answer is yes. Speed, more and more news, and the organization in 3 shifts, mainly the first one, which is the weakest point of the organization. It starts from time zero event to 2 hours after the event, and so the journalists are not looking for accuracy but more for reactivity, and it's easy to instill false news. So the consequence is easy. Trust is shrinking. You can see everywhere. USA, trust in France, and this is a trust problem. Except for the local and regional media, which was more trusted so far, even though the same problems are attacking the trust in regional media, kind of distrust. So in order to understand and explain, we have conducted a survey in Brittany with 200 people. We've met 200 people. 100 have accepted to answer the question. We have read more than 5,000 comments on Twitter. The question were how do you evaluate each bit's quality, bits being a thematic issue, sports, politics, and evaluation of the quality of the story dedicated in the newspaper to international, national, regional, and local news. Let's say that Brittany is a really specific region. People read newspaper more than anywhere in France. They are educated people, 26% hold a bachelor degree. The unemployment rate is quite low, and there is a very strong regional identity. So the findings are are interesting. Mainly, it's mainly about local news. The local news are trusted, but people are really critical about local news, the treatment, because they know a lot about the place. The journalists don't stay only 1 year or 2 years in the same place and then go away, and while the readers stay. So the final finding, it's time to find another way, another form of objectivity. In the United States, they get rid of the old objectivity, but the people seem to be lost, and so they have to find a new one. Quality of content is another way to restore trust, and innovation is the key word for a better trust. Thank you.